The House and Senate negotiators have agreed to the Defense Authorization Act. Well, if you've got bipartisan agreement in Washington, that means we're all screwed. And of course, as always, that's exactly what's happened here. First of all, it's a $662 billion defense bill. It's gigantically bloated, but nobody's even talking about that. The enormous waste at the Pentagon is an issue that the rest of the country doesn't touch at all, which seems like we're about the only show that covers it. And then it's got many other small problems. For example, it freezes $700 million to Pakistan because they're unhappy with how well they've cleared IEDs on the road to Afghanistan for our troops. Look, I hear it, man, and I agree that's a terrible problem. But I don't like tying the hands of the executive in very minutia of foreign policy like that. And you're also tying the hands of the military, by the way. So now Congress has frozen the funds and we can't even unfreeze it, right? Even if Pakistan starts to do the right things. Iran, they have decided that they are going to apply sanctions against the country's central bank. The Obama administration is saying, again, that might be counterproductive because in some ironic way, it actually leads to higher oil prices, which might actually get Iran more money. So stop meddling with things that are in the executive branch. It's a terrible idea. And then third of all, they have decided that they will say there can never be any money for domestic facilities to move the people that are at Guantanamo Bay. So Gitmo will be open forever. Now, by themselves, all this stuff would be horrible. But it's all small potatoes compared to the horrible thing inside the Defense Authorization Act, which is basically violating several different amendments, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. They're getting perilously close to the Third Amendment. Also violating habeas corpus, which is the foundation of Western democracy. And what else we got? I've got more acts that they're going against. I will explain all that in a second. So what are they doing? Number one, the military can now work within the United States of America. Now, before they could not operate inside the territorial United States because that was illegal. Well, congratulations, it is now legal. Of course, that's the Posse Comitatus Act that was passed after the Civil War, saying the military, without congressional authorization, cannot take action inside the U.S. Police action will be taken by the police, not by the military. Well, now that they're going to pass this law, President Obama does not veto it. Now the military can act within the United States. So there goes 150 years of precedent and a very, very sensible law. Congratulations. Welcome to more military rule within the U.S. If you think that's bad, they can also arrest United States citizens and they can hold them indefinitely. I mean, it is a horrible, horrible law. Now, they said, oh, well, look, President Obama objected. God bless his heart for doing so. Was very happy that President Obama issued a veto threat here. We'll see if they got past his veto threat in the adjustments that they made. Some small adjustments. It used to be that the Secretary of Defense could make the decision on whether you hold people indefinitely in the United States, or if you say, hey, you know what, out of the goodness of my heart, I will allow the FBI to pursue this case rather than the military when it involves a quote-unquote enemy combatant, right? Well, they said, okay, President Obama objected to that, so now it will be the president that makes that decision rather than the Secretary of Defense. To which I say, whoop-de-doo. Would it have really made a difference if it was George Bush or Donald Rumsfeld making that decision? Of course not. That power goes to the executive branch where it should not be. Before, the law said that it was a requirement that the military arrest anyone and detain indefinitely anyone they called an enemy combatant. Now, again, they have made an exception so that if the FBI or the local police want to do it, maybe they can grant them an exemption, but they would have to get that exemption. Otherwise, the military, again, would be in charge. And again, they can arrest U.S. citizens and never give them a trial. This is insanity, man. I mean, look, let me read you the Fifth Amendment because I think it's fairly clear on this issue, but apparently they missed it. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Fifth Amendment, gone. Fourth Amendment was already destroyed. You could already do warrantless searches without getting a warrant, without probable cause, without due process. You can do illegal searches and seizures, what used to be illegal and unconstitutional. So Fourth Amendment is gone. Fifth Amendment is gone. 14th Amendment has the same due process clause, apparently gone. I mentioned the Third Amendment earlier because, you know what, at this point, that's the one amendment that's never talked about, right? You remember what it is? It's that you cannot quarter soldiers inside your house, or the military cannot quarter soldiers inside your house, right? Well, now if the military is acting within the United States, soon they might be coming for the Third Amendment. What was previously unimaginable has now become commonplace. This passed the Senate and the House easily. Now, President Obama has issued a veto threat earlier. They made some adjustments to the ones that I just explained to you. Will it mean that President Obama then will sign off on it? I hope to God he doesn't. And if he vetoes it, it'll be the greatest thing he's done. And I would give him all the credit in the world. If he signs it into law, what was radical and unconstitutional before will now not only be commonplace, but it will be the new American way. And it is an absolute disaster for the country. I can't overstate it. This is as bad as it gets. And I'm not alone. Let me give you some quotes. Retired Admiral John Hudson, who was a lifelong conservative and Republican all the way until 2008, he said, I wouldn't vote for a Democratic dog catcher, okay? He switched over because he thought the Bush administration had become so radical. Wait till you get a load of the next set of bills, right? So retired Admiral Hudson now says about the Defense Authorization Act, quote, the enemy is just laughing over this because they will have gotten another victory. There'll be one more victory. There won't be any bloodshed or immediate bloodshed. There's not a big explosion, except in a metaphorical sense, but it is a victory nonetheless for the enemy, and it is a self-inflicted wound. He couldn't be more right. That's 1,000,000% correct, man. We just did it to ourselves. Al-Qaeda's attack was over 10 years ago, and we're still punching ourselves in the face. Oh, Al-Qaeda, you're so right. We're so scared of you. Okay, we're going to take away the Fourth Amendment. We're going to take away the Fifth Amendment. We're going to take away all these amendments. A bunch of losers, cowards is what they are. Now, when they asked John McCain about this, hey, wait, don't the critics have a decent point? I mean, you calling these guys enemy combatants. Who gets to decide what an enemy combatant is? Get a load of this Bushism / Herman Cainism that John McCain unloads. He says, quote, any combatant is an enemy combatant. Well, thanks a lot, John. Really appreciate it. That made it very, very clear. John Hudson continues, in this war, the enemy doesn't have to win. They can cause us to do things we wouldn't otherwise do, such as indefinite detentions, in the name of fighting a war. God bless you, retired Admiral Hudson. He continues, what the enemy, what the terrorists want to do, because they know they can't beat us militarily, is they can try to change us. They can cause us to become more like them, and for them, that is victory. Except these are voices in the wilderness. We scream, Admiral Hudson screams, but no one hears us. Certainly the Senate doesn't hear us. We'll find out soon enough if President Obama vetoes or doesn't veto on whether he hears us. But they have changed America right underneath our nose. I'm telling you, we're in a pot of water and it's boiling. We got to jump out of it. This entire government and establishment has become radicalized. We're not the radicals, they're the radicals.